What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles back at you with another installment of Lyles Movie Files. Joining me, as always, is little brother Jayce. How you doing?
Hello there.
Hello. And joining us once again is the legend, the man himself, Chief. How are you, sir?
Appreciate it. Hold the applause. It's good to be back.
Well, it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you.
Good to be seen than viewed.
Absolutely. Speaking of something that's been seen that won't be viewed for much longer, The Walking Dead is continuing. And Jayce, we have neglected to talk about these first two episodes, the last two shows. They've actually been pretty good. The Commonwealth has set up this interesting arc where it seems like everything's all gravy, but there's this underlying thing that everything is not right. But I, dear brother, would argue that in the fine tradition of their former leader, Rick, this crew is messing up a good thing. Like the Commonwealth, life is grand. They've got apartments. They don't have to worry about walkers that didn't clear out in the prison cell, eating everybody up. No killer flus here. They have food. They have bakeries. They have florists. They even have freaking cotton candy and ice cream trucks. I'm like, what the heck? And these guys are slowly doing what they always do. Hey, man, this thing is too good to be true. Let's mess it up.
I'm pretty sure if I was once I would, you did the intake interviews for these guys, it's like, it would be an interview. It's like, okay, these guys are locusts. No matter where they go, they come in there and destroy everything. I mean, because I literally was like thinking about it, like, okay, they went to the prison. Hey, that wasn't great.
But the prison should have lasted. That should have lasted. Yeah. That was a fortified base. That should have held them down as long as they needed to. Nah, let's go piss off the governor.
They could have somehow taken over Woodbury. That literally was fine. But y'all don't want to do that. Okay. Then you go to Alexandria, which is a 100% stable community. And your first month, you're like, man, we gotta take this joint over. They're living too well over here. Rick, why do you need to take this thing over? I see things are gonna happen. Yes, you came here. That's what the problem is. Everybody else would have been cool, but you guys literally like, nah, we see reasons that this isn't gonna work. So then, okay. Then they go to Hilltop. The locusts spread to Hilltop. Hilltop goes. Kingdom somehow has a blight of locusts, literally and figuratively, that destroy all their crops. You know the common denominator once again? Rick's crew.
As always.
They're amazing.
Like, they're so.
And it's like when you ask them, do we really want these guys to come? I mean, like, because even the saviors, it was like Hilltop and Alexandria were coping. They probably would have lasted for years on their half rations. But Rick and the crew, no, we can't have it. Because you could have had the saviors fight what was
Kingdom,
it, the Whisperers?
Hilltop, Whisperers, the Wolves, whoever.
Yeah, the Wolves, like the Wolves wouldn't have messed with Negan.
Nah.
I mean, so it's like your great saving society always ends up destroying society. So it's like, and do you guys really want these guys to come in? These guys have been on their own for like, at this point, 10 years. They don't know how to be like a civilization anymore. They don't know how to go back to the world the way the world was. And you want to help. I'd be like, hey, we'll give you food and crops. Just don't ever ask where it's coming from. We are not accepting.
Yeah, they should keep them in Alexandria and keep it moving. And Chief, I know you're far behind, but so far, this arc has been pretty good. Like, they've had basically Rick's old crew is trying to figure out where they fit into this new world. Spoiler, they're not. And people are like, Rosita and Daryl are joining the Stormtrooper tribute band, and Carol's back to baking and scheming. And anytime you see Carol with a baking pan, you know it's about to go down with serious drama. Ezekiel is not doing well. He needs a surgery. So Carol, being the only person in this show who's like, sees a problem, I'll fix it. She decides to befriend Lance Hornsby and becomes his super ally so she can get Ezekiel bumped up the line to get a surgery. I mean, Carol gets stuff done. Now, you could say a lot about her, which I have, but if she sees something, she is on it. It's like, ooh, that's the bone I'm after now. I got you. I'm bringing that bone back.
Ezekiel's still alive then, huh?
He went to the Commonwealth, and the Commonwealth actually has medicine. Unlike Alexandria and the Hilltop, which is just, man, Negan and his crew really messed us up, didn't he? And then the Whisperers really messed us up, didn't they? Yes.
Huh. Okay.
But the Commonwealth has been cool. Like, they have been this society. So far, it's only 3 episodes, basically, of this arc. So it's been interesting seeing how they integrate into society. Connie is starting to stir up stuff because she didn't trust the government. And there's people gone missing. And she's becoming one of the Commonwealth dissidents where it's like, yeah, I don't trust this government. There's an anti-Commonwealth uprising on the low, and people are leery of it, and the government's like, we got to keep this on the hush. So it's really interesting.
People not trusting their government? What kind of world is this?
I don't know, man. But for real though, the way the Commonwealth operates, no one should be complaining whatsoever. I mean,
take them outside for 5 minutes. Do you really care if government is censoring your non-internet data?
I'm just I have
can you go to sleep?
I have real issues with this freedom that they're feeling is being infringed upon. But they're saying it's not equal. The upper crust is not sharing the load as the common folk of the Commonwealth. And that's kind of interesting because it's that whole class system in society rearing its ugly head. It's like, it's so old school, old world that they have classes. And that part is really interesting. But still, it's better than being in a hotel, a prison, or what have you, fighting for your life against walkers.
Hold on, so there's a rich, quote rich.
So they have like
within the Commonwealth.
They had this big masquerade ball, and they even had paparazzi outside for the newspaper taking photos and cheering on the heavy hitters at the Commonwealth. And they roll out the red carpet for the people. And
how many people are there?
Oh, it's a rack. It's like thousands of people in the Commonwealth. It's a real city. It's way better than anything we've seen before. And they've got train stations. Like it's the whole works. They've got a hospital. It's a fully functioning society. They have more than one doctor, so one gets killed.
You can kill.
No. It's not the normal Rick takeover crew.
You can kill the rich.
Yeah. It's not like that.
Right, but they have a functioning military too that is under the control of the government.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. Lots of cool elements. And the head guy, the military, is this black dude. He's not wearing a stormtrooper suit. He's got like an orange red. He's cool. And it seems like he's starting to question the government now. And he's kind of taking Daryl under his wing. So they've got really interesting aspects of this. And this past week, which I kind of wish we had talked about this season before, because this was my least favorite of the 3. Eugene is looking for his girlfriend, Stephanie, who goes missing after he tells her, I love you. Which sends her running to the hills, literally. And it leads to this kind of noir story, which I think would have worked with anybody but Eugene, because Eugene talks too much to be that cool detective, dragging on a cigarette, flicking to the side, being cool. Like, Eugene is not cool. And that's his whole thing. He's a motor mouth chatterbox. He is Mouth from Goonies as an adult. And yeah, so that was something. Then we have Connie and Kelly trying to uncover what's going on behind the scenes with the government. And then we've got Carol and Lance Hornsby, who is my new favorite character of these guys, because he is the living embodiment of Troy McClure. He's got that slick used car salesman. Hey, everybody, everything's just fine. But there's something underneath with him. And he's apparently running some secret faction of the Commonwealth that's doing some dirt undercover we don't know about yet. And he reveals, Eugene stumbles upon this little secret cable, and it's like, cabal, and it's what's happening. And I'm intrigued. I've been intrigued since Lance showed up all smiling. We're here to help you. With his slick suit. Like, the suit is really what does it. He is a suit, as Billy from Entourage would say. But yeah.
Back for a second. So, the girl Eugene was pining over was from the Commonwealth then?
Yeah. But they did an okie doke on him.
Like, that's literally where I stopped watching Walking Dead when he was trying to reach out to that girl.
Oh, man. See, they've had some good stuff since then. It's worth going back because I feel like the show, they'd taken one hiatus and was kind of like, uh-oh, what's happening? But I think it's been really good the last, 5, 6 episodes, bro? You say that?
I think, like, this last episode was probably one of the weaker ones. And the actual season finale of last season wasn't the best. I think, like, it just kind of set you, like, it was like the Negan episode was like the one that, like, the
Negan episode's great.
This is what's going to carry this show going forward.
Now I heard Negan and Maggie.
Hold up. I'm gonna get to that in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna discuss that in just a second. So the one complaint, as always, it's not really a complaint that is under the control of showrunner Angela Kang. It's just she's made the show so interesting that I really wish Rick, Michonne, Carl were still here participating, being key factors of everything that's going on in Walking Dead. Because Daryl's not a leader. Carol doesn't really care about being a leader. She's just like, I'm doing my thing behind the scenes. That's kind of her role, like the spy who's operating in secret with a smile in a cookbook. But Rick would be more that public-facing guy. Michonne is the super enforcer. And I just feel like that component is missing in the show right now.
Well, I mean, right now, because even at this point, like, we don't see what Maggie is doing. And Maggie has come off as, like, to put it bluntly, she's a failed leader. Everywhere she goes, her society crumbles, and it's kind of like, hey, it was just you had to lead. Like, as much as I talk about Rick, in his locus, it's
hey, she trained under Rick.
I mean, it's like hers crumbles versus Rick putting gasoline on it and saying, "Up, it's all burned down."
But at least Rick leads into the next place to take over.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Maggie will lead some of them, not most of them.
They're not
some.
Maybe like 2 or 3 survivors.
Huh? Treetop is not there no more.
Oh, Treetop's long gone. Yeah, Maggie is she gets bad luck with her situations. Like every scenario that she's in, she's seeing lots of friends, lots of bodies hitting the ground. It's like, darn it. Okay, let's keep trying the 4 of you who are left. Okay,
now, Maggie's
Maggie.
back, right?
Maggie's back.
After that failed her own failed TV show.
Was that Whiskey Cavalier?
Yeah.
No. It was.
And it's funny because I tried to watch that, and it was so outrageous in the way they did. Like, I thought it was going to be kind of like regular humans doing things. Like when you watch it, you'd be like, oh, that might be possible. But they was damn near like one step below being able to fly with the impossibility of things. And once I saw that one episode where I was like, hold on. This whole thing is they're doing things that's not even really human. Like, they're doing superhuman things. I was like, this is not gonna last long. Like, I think if they had just made them regular characters, she probably would have never came back to the show. But then they tried to make them like super spies.
Well, the show is based off of a comic book, so I haven't read it. So maybe there's some comic book background where they were like, let's make it realistic. And
nobody knew. Nobody heard of that. Only comic book heads. So when you try to appeal to the masses,
barely heard about it.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then in the time slot, the people who are watching it are people who are older who don't necessarily go to the comic book store anymore. I have no idea. Whiskey Cavalier. So yeah. But she's back now. Okay.
She's back, and Maggie's always been a great character. And when she left, it was like, darn it, we're losing Maggie too. So having her back, playing off of Negan has been great for the show. And
they're still beefing?
Oh, well, I mean, I wouldn't say they're still beefing, but Negan is like, I am going to be a straight up Sandman and sleep with one eye open around you. Even when I'm awake, I'm sleeping with one eye open. And he rightfully does not trust her because, you know, he did take a spiked barbed wire baseball bat to her husband's head. So, you know, there's reason for beef. Up. Yeah.
Glenn should still be alive.
Well, I mean, that's comic accurate too. So it's like, okay. Yeah, but Glenn should, yeah. They lost a lot of good people along the way in getting to season 11. And I feel like they're missing Rick and Michonne so much at this point. Like through the whole Whisper War, the Savior War, or not the Savior War.
Are they coming back?
I would assume at some point.
Rick was supposed to come back.
I assume he will.
It's not guaranteed. It's like he's got a spin-off
movie.
Or a movie. But there is no technical guarantee that Rick is coming back. Like, there's no guarantee that Michonne would come back. And it's funny. I actually kind of disagree with you. I think it's good that they weren't there for the Whisperer Wars. Like, some of those was like, that was time for other people to step up. And now it's like, is it's getting wrapped to the end? It's like, you could almost have this tension between the old leaders and the new leaders on trying to, how do we integrate, do we trust these people? Because now it's like Daryl's bought in, he's drank the Kool-Aid. Carol, like I said, is
Daryl has to because he has to take care of Rick and Michonne's kids. I mean, I'm still like, how is he guardian of them?
I mean, how's this guy to
like, who's left? Yeah.
I mean, because Daryl and Karen would make more sense.
No, Daryl and Carol are still not hooked up, and it looks like they're pushing back Ezekiel and Carol, which I'm fine with because I feel like I hate these shows where, oh look, they're staring at each other for 2 seconds, they should be a couple. I hate that whole deal. And
yeah, but lame. I think that they should do it once and then wake up and be like, let's never talk of this again.
Oh, that's what we have
too much sexual tension between them for like 5 years now.
It's not sexual tension. It's
in
just
a post-apocalyptic world. You know what I mean? That's not gonna happen.
Daryl looks like he's crushing hard on Connie, and I'd much rather that Connie. She's the older sister who is deaf.
Hearing impaired.
I think she's considered deaf.
Well, let's get to the real important part. Is Dog still alive?
Of course, man. You can't kill Dog off. You can kill a tiger, apparently. You can kill a tiger, and you can kill off Sophia, but you can't kill Dog.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I was sad when the tiger died, too. Don't get me wrong.
I was, man. I was. But the CGI team was like, whoo! Party over our house. We don't have to animate this tiger anymore.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a sadistic bastard. So one of my favorite deaths was Rick's girl.
Jesse?
That time they tried to put on the mask and walk through the walker.
Listen, that was 100% on that crew. Get your kid.
I enjoyed that
Get
part.
your kid.
I never enjoyed the scene as much.
Mommy.
No, that was on Carol. She literally she spooked the hell out of that boy way before it was time to deal with it. Like, Carol could have been like, hey, I need you to be a tough guy. Nah, hey, if they're going to see you, you're going to yell, and they're going to rip your face off.
You're right, Mom. Yeah. You're right. They will.
My favorite deaths would be probably that family there, and the little girl which she told to look away. Look at the pretty flowers.
Man, Chief?
Yeah.
That's harsh.
They were just good deaths. They were memorable deaths.
That was memorable. I felt bad for Carol on that one.
Yeah. So,
So let's go on to the news you were talking about, though, because it was just announced this week that we are not done with Walking Dead spinoffs. We are going to have one featuring Negan and Maggie. And it's going to be called Isle of the Walking Dead. And I am so confused. If we have a spinoff with Carol and Daryl, if we have another spinoff with Maggie and Negan, why not just say Walking Dead Season 12? Let's keep it rolling. Like, for the principal characters, we don't need another spinoff or 2 spinoffs. Just keep the thing rolling. Am I missing something?
Funny thing. I laughed at this when they announced it because it was like, at this point, they might as well just do like Young Justice does on HBO Max and just literally have arcs instead of spin-off, just like have arcs where, hey, we're gonna be in New York with
Zatanna and her crew.
Negan and
Maggie.
What's her name? Jayce, what's her name?
Maggie,
yeah. Duh. Yeah, and it's like, and again, that doesn't seem like the buddy cop drama drama you ever wanted, because it's like, hey, one's trying to kill other, and the other one's just trying to survive in a post-apocalyptic world. It's Negan and Maggie, yay! I'm sorry, are we gonna keep Glenn around? I'm sorry, Herschel around, or is he gonna stay out with Daryl too?
I think he's gonna hang out with Daryl.
And he's going to be the caretaker of all the children. You know, Daryl's going to be singing "We Are the Children." Like, come on, we are the world. I mean, come on. I don't want to see. As we said in the text message, I kind of do want this show to end on a good note, versus all of these spinoffs making it seem like it's dragging on to a very slow death.
But the thing is, the show hasn't been bad. Like, it's been better. They've had better episodes these last few seasons than those last few seasons of Rick, where it was like, darn it. And then when he left, it was like, oh shoot, y'all wasted Rick on these whack seasons. And man, now it's so good, and I wish he was here. And it's been fine. It's been good. I've enjoyed more episodes than I haven't. And I just feel like if they do a spinoff or two, it's going to dilute The Walking Dead. And I'm kind of at a point where I have like 20 plus episodes of Fear the Walking Dead. Not because it's been bad. It's just I don't need 2 shows of The Walking Dead. I enjoy the one. And the one in Fear the Walking Dead crew are much dumber than the Walking Dead crew, and I can tolerate them making bad decisions, but the Fear crew, stupid. So that's my issue.
Is it just me, or is like at this point all of these communities almost should come together? It's like, how have you guys not had a like mass? I mean, like, yeah, let me change my word. Like, how have y'all not just figured out a way, like a trap, a herd, how to get rid of, like how they did with in Alexandria, where they just basically made a giant sand pit. Like, okay, just blare some loud speakers, and then all of the walkers are come trickling down in there, and then you just clean them up every 6 months or something like that, so you don't have to worry about them, and then you actually would have your society back.
I don't understand that part, because it's been a decade at this point, and the Commonwealth are the only crew that decided, let's put on armor and go after him. I guess the Kingdom did too, but their hockey pads weren't very effective in Gotham or against walkers. So, because I'm not wearing hockey pads.
So the Fear of Walking Dead is still on?
Still on, man. It's about to come on when Walking Dead takes its second break, because this is
the children, the one with the children.
That's done.
It was just quick, or they canceled it?
It's 2 seasons.
It did what?
It was 2 seasons. They weren't playing anymore.
And then it got canceled.
Nah, it wasn't canceled. They only planned it for 2 seasons. So after the second season,
it finished.
Yeah.
So the children are done.
Yeah, I didn't watch an episode of that because I was like, dude, it's kids in The Walking Dead. Why am I watching this?
And then you're talking about getting rid of the walkers because it's been 10 years, right? Here's the thing about that that's funny to me. So you die.
You become
walking around in your death suit. What is the rate of decay?
There is no rate of decay.
So with 10 years, it should not be a herd. Should not be enough people.
Well, there's people dying all the time because people aren't in these communities, so they're dying on the side of the road. They get bit by walkers or whatever, and then it's.
But after the initial, say, first year or 2,
nobody did like what Rick's crew.
Let's just take the pandemic, right? We're 2 years in. Most of the people who are going to get it have gotten it at least one time already. Some of us have been lucky not to get it all, but at the same time, if you were to throw in the people, like, at some time, it's going to wear thin. Like, it's going to be more people who, it's going to eventually die down to a point where this group here has whatever. And then I just never understood, like, people, they're decaying. Like, you see them in various degrees of decay. So we know that they're decaying. Hell, spending the winter time would be the best part because they have no body heat, I'm assuming, and they would freeze in the winter, right? But they never freeze.
You're trying to use science, and we're trying to get a.
Okay.
Because technically, it did, like you said, like the herd should be done. You've had these various communities that have they've eliminated these herds, or
most of these communities wall themselves up so they don't deal with walkers unless they come to their border.
And they have enough, like I think Woodbury was a good one. It's like they have noise and stuff, so you always should have, and they're building. They're not going out to Idaho or something like that. They're mostly building in big cities or close to big cities. So it's like you should be taking out in those 10 years. It's like the majority of those guys should be around. This is all mostly in Northern America. So it's like most of this should be done.
No, it's not. It's not, because it's worldwide. And Fear the Walking Dead.
That's what I'm saying. Like we haven't done Walking Dead India, which that would be a scary thing. It's like you would have. That's one of the biggest populations in the world. So it's like that should be a really scary place.
Walking Dead China.
Yeah, like that would be like, oh shoot, we gotta really find small resources in this overwhelming herd of zombies. But 10 years later, it's like, okay, we should have figured out how to. You should have made a Commonwealth in 10 years. It's like, okay.
Well, and the danger should be coming from, at this point, other communities. The walkers should be secondary in a sense. Like, you might run into walkers going from, because
that's how it is. They're not real threats. They haven't been real threats since the Whisperer War. Like the walkers are like, oh look, there's walkers, and they get killed. They're not a threat. It's the people now. The walkers haven't been threats in years. All right, so let's jump off of Walking Dead, because we could always talk about that. And I'm so glad you're here today, Chief, because we're going to talk about one of your absolute favorite topics, DC Warner Brother films. So the latest on the pipeline is that The Flash and Aquaman sequel have shockingly been pushed back. All right. The Flash and Aquaman films have shockingly been pushed back to 2023, which means we're not going to get that Flashpoint with Michael Keaton fixing everything in the DC Extended Universe until next year. Shazam! Fury of the Gods is now moving up to this year, and that seems like it's self-contained, so it doesn't matter. And so that's what's going on that end. Okay, hold on. Where's that? That's you, Jayce?
It was a spider the size of a small child moving towards me, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, you just look like...
Because I saw it out the corner of my eye, I was like, what the hell is that? I'm cool, though. But, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, hold on. And the Black Adam film, which was supposed to come out this summer, has now been pushed back to October 21st. DC Warner Brothers carnage at its finest. I feel at this point, none of their films come out as scheduled. There's delays, and I don't think we can blame COVID like we have for most films in the last 3 years. Do you guys care about these delays, or does it just solidify that Warner Brothers has a firm handle on what they're doing with their DC universe?
I like how you say Warner Brothers has a firm handle on what they're doing. That's cute. No. It seems like it's just delaying the inevitable of them rebooting this whole thing. Even more reboot. Flashpoint should have been the first movie. Like, when they decided they were done with Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill, They should have been like, all right, this is how we're gonna do it, and then go from there. Like we're gonna go with Supergirl, we're gonna go with the Flash, we're gonna go with Gal Gadot, and we're gonna go with Aquaman, and Shazam. That's how we're gonna do it. But
and Batgirl. Don't forget Batgirl.
And Batgirl. She's in. I can't even tell who's in this universe or not. There's like 50 universes with.
Well, she's on the HBO Max. She's getting an HBO Max movie, and that's part of this universe.
Again, this is the problem with having these separate universes. I don't know what exists. Like Robert Pattinson is a young Batman.
It's not Patterson. It's Pattinson.
Pattinson.
I always make him sound like the bear.
Okay, Pattinson. He's in a separate universe, but his movie has been released this year. Flashpoint, which is supposed to reset this, is set next year. Is Aquaman gonna even make sense if he doesn't mention, hey, I wonder what happened to those Justice League guys that I never actually teamed with by the time the end of this movie happens? Like, none of this is gonna make sense. And then Warner Brothers is gonna be so busy patting their head over how great the Batman was, and they're like, hey, do we even need the rest of these movies? Because it seems like they're stupid. Oh wait, we paid Rock a small fortune to make Shazam, so I guess we got to keep those. Like, it doesn't make sense. And I'm like, I think I said this like 5 or 6 podcasts ago. I have no faith in Warner Brothers when it comes to these movies. So it's like them delaying what I'm already going to be a jump off point for me. Whatever. Like, I'll watch the last Shazam and Black Adam and be like, okay, that's it. Thanks. It's been a fail. It's been real, but I'm out.
It's been a fail. That's a Freudian slip, right? All right, Chief. What's your take on this?
It's the effing Catalina wine, nigga. You know what I mean? It is a shit show. You got Brennan and you got my man on the drums, boats and hoes. You know what I mean? Now, is anybody surprised? No, we're not surprised. This is Warner Brothers. This is what they do. They put together the worst of everything. They're garbage. They are beta to your VHS. They are what's the DVD player that they are HD DVD to your Blu-ray. You know what I mean? They are Hisense to your Samsung. You know what I mean? This is what they do. This is who they are. They have no clue what they're doing over there, and they don't care that they have no clue. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, listen. It's almost like if you were a drug dealer and you knew that no matter how bad your product was out, there's going to be somebody who's going to buy it. It's almost like you need Frank White to go in there and be like, hey, don't put blue magic on this. You can put whatever you want once you sell it. But with people who come to me, that's Marvel. People who come to me know that they're going to get a good product. I don't care. Call it whatever you want. And you call it Warner Brothers. Because you know that you're going to get a diluted, not as powerful. You know what I mean? It's been stepped on at least 6-7 times. It's not any good. But there's somebody out there going to buy it. So when they come out, of course, like, we're not rushing. None of us are rushing to see the Batman movie. We are like, you know what? It's and Patterson, you call him Paddington, because it is Robert Paddington the Bear. Because nobody wants to see that joint. None of us went to see Paddington the Bear. Just like none of us is going to see Batman until it comes on the damn HBO Max. So here's the thing. We're not going to see that. Shazam is delayed. Of course. Why wouldn't it be?
No, Shazam is coming up. Shazam was set for next year, and it's jumping up.
Wonder Woman 1984 was garbage. We waited an extra year for that. Do we expect anything different from Aquaman? Nobody wanted to see Flashpoint. There's been zero. I've yet to run into somebody and be like, hey man, that Flash movie's gonna be it. There's no one saying that. They've had a meeting and they were like, man, let's do the Flash. Yeah, people want the Man of Steel to come. Flashpoint. Ezra Miller. That's our guy. He's a star. And he's going to go ahead and he's going to set this thing off for us. Nobody wants to see none of these movies. The Black Adam. Nobody's excited. I'm not excited for nothing Warner Brothers can do. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, the funny thing, I hate to say this, but the first Flash movie you guys use is Flashpoint. You're not building up to Flashpoint. It's
tear down.
First one, Flashpoint. Just tear it all down. Like,
well, let's tear some of it down.
Brothers, the WB is not Warner Brothers. It stands for While Back. Because that's when you thought their movies was going to be good. While back. You know what I mean? Right now, you just like, yo, this is going to be garbage. These movies are going to be garbage. They're putting out garbage. They're delayed. 1984 was on the cable the other day. And let me tell you, I didn't even stop. I skipped right over that joint. You know what I mean? There was
Next
nothing
channel,
in it. Yeah. Like every once in a while, Wonder Woman, the regular one, the first one will come out, and I'll be like, 1984? I'm like, yo, why did we wait 2 years for that? Why are we waiting 2 years for these other joints? I mean, there's no reason behind it. It's nothing anymore. At this point, I don't even believe it's a money thing. Like, they don't even want to make money anymore. They're just like, you know what? We're gonna do what we do, fellas. You know, I don't even. They're the commanders of movies. They're the commanders of movies. You know what I mean? And this is how they want to be seen. So, you know, it is what it is, man. You know what? What's the Marvel run? What's the Marvel run coming up, Jeff? Because that's what we're really interested in.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And, of course, it is absolutely exciting looking and paying off things from WandaVision, Doctor Strange, What If. I mean, there's so much stuff on there that we already know because they decided, hey, a connected universe probably makes sense. Oh, yes, people are paying and our movies make $1 billion. No Way Home, third highest grossing movie. Oh, yeah, no problem, because that's what we do with our movies. We make good movies that people want to see. They bring people to the theaters, not tear it all down and just hope that everybody still wants to see a grim and gritty Batman.
I mean, again, they have a what-if universe of all possible things, and also knowing they can keep all the other movies that have come before. Warner Brothers has no clue how to do that. And it's like, let's tear it all down, and then we have to reboot this in 5 years, and then we'll have another Batman origin movie, and we may get to that Superman property, but let's be honest, we're probably not.
You think they would just find out who's on that Marvel team, offer him hey, listen, we'll offer you $70 million for the next 4 years. Just come in here and make this thing. I mean, that's what it's no different than the NFL, right? You got a good offensive coordinator. The team is a winning team. You go in. You can't hire the head coach. So what do? You hire the guy under the head coach and say, hey, listen, I want you to come in and run this team. You know what Warner Brothers does? They don't even hire nobody connected to football.
I was going to say,
they hired the lacrosse player.
Yeah, an NBA skipper. Come on, Skip. Let's come on out here. You manage a baseball team. You can run this organization here.
So here's something I thought was real interesting. Warner Brothers has been very excited. The Batman did pretty well at the box office. I think the final weekend count was 134 million. That sounds really great. I don't know if we can really call this the pandemic era anymore, because I think people are back in theaters and Uncharted's crossed over to 100 million. So I feel like that's fine to say we're back with the movies. And I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive, until I started looking at the numbers. It is much lower than Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, which opened at 166 million also in March. Dark Knight Rises opened at 160 in July 2012, and The Dark Knight opened at 158 million, and that was back in 2008. So 134 is kind of interesting.
What did Superman Man of Steel open at?
Oh, thanks. I didn't pull up that one. Give me a sec. I think maybe it was around that. Let's see. Man of Steel. But see, I think that's a different comparison just because of the Batman having tons of people paying attention to it and caring about it just on its own. And there not being a lot of Superman films by that point because it clearly was more serious than Superman Stalker. That opened at 116. Final gross is 291 domestically.
Yeah, but again,
how much was the final gross?
291. Just domestic.
Yeah. But it still opened up higher and for
inflation.
No,
it was 116 million back in 2013. Batman was 134.
So again, Man of Steel opened with less critical acclaim for more money added plus inflation, which probably puts that around like 200 million now in today's dollars. And they're celebrating like it was the greatest movie ever, and it's like you didn't beat the movie you basically decided to trash.
It's interesting. What's going to be really interesting is next weekend. That's going to be the real mark of how successful the Batman is. If it stays, so if it was 134, if it's around 80, 90 million this coming weekend, that means the word of mouth is good. So it'll be really interesting because I don't feel like this is a movie where a lot of people are going to go, yo, I need to watch this 2 or 3 times in the theater, especially with 45-day window coming for seeing it on HBO Max. I feel like some people are like, man, it was really fun. That was good. I'll wait till I get home to watch it again. And then there are going to be people like y'all who are like, I'll wait till it gets on HBO Max. So it's going to be really telling to see what happens with this films over the next 3 weekends.
Hey, when you keep striking out, you celebrate a bunt.
I guess so. Or just getting on the first plate. All right, so let's move on. Big news, big drop today. The Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer hit. And I thought this did a great job of, hey, y'all want to see Obi-Wan Kenobi. Y'all want to see Ewan McGregor. We ain't showing y'all jack. Just sit there and watch him walk around in different places. Y'all are going to be hyped. And that was essentially what we got. But we did see the Inquisitors. And it was like, oh, shoot. Okay. So we got old boy from Rebels. Looked like he showed up there. The bald guy. And then we got some new sisters. Or at least one new Inquisitor. Second. Maybe she's the third sister. And then we saw Uncle Owen. And we saw young Luke on top of a roof already disobeying rules. And just like piloting his speeder. He's all over the place already. But I can't wait for this show. It's going to take way too long until May, but I am very much looking forward to it. I didn't need to see picture 1 or a trailer, as I knew they were going to show Darth Vader popping on the scene. But this really looked movie quality, and I can't wait. Jayce, what's your thoughts on it?
When it's like they were smart. They started basically the teaser trailer off with Duel of Fates. Like right. You instantaneously get in my head like, okay, we're not playing here. And then you see little bits of Obi-Wan, but then you see all of the Inquisitors. I think that was a Grand Inquisitor they had there. He's a little different, but it's like they're like almost looks like the Council of Inquisitors in there. I was like, okay, this is looking cool. And then you see I think a lot of times when we do stuff they did stuff with the Empire, you don't show how bad the Empire is, but when you see like the random Inquisitor just force choking somebody up midair for everybody to see, it's like, okay, these dudes are not. This is not a nice just order. These guys are an authoritarian bunch of jerks. So showing that and kind of like the language that was used, like, yeah, eventually this Jedi's gonna pop his head out. We're not worried. He's gonna come. He's gonna try and be a Jedi, and then we're gonna strike him down because that's what we do. I thought this, like, you're talking 2 months. I gotta wait 2 months to see that. I'm very excited. Versus like kind of how I'll mess with Book of Boba Fett. It's like we saw how the second to last episode was that trailer for Mandalorian season 3. We're like, oh, I'm really ready for that. But I know Kenobi's coming this year, and unlike a DC property, I know this isn't going to fail because you guys actually put 2 quality people in charge of this versus whatever y'all do in Warner Brothers. It's like we know we got Ewan McGregor, we're getting Hayden Christensen, and we're getting the band back together. We got Uncle Owen coming here. I mean, that was just like, wow, we're gonna have Inquisitors, Uncle Owen, Darth Vader, man. Bring this show on now. Like, come on, I haven't watched Disney Plus in a while. Come on, bring it on now.
Now, one thing that I think is weird, I don't like this. This was a problem. I don't know if I'd say problem, but this is an issue I had with some other post Return of the Jedi stuff, where the Empire starts becoming diverse. So we see one of the Inquisitors, Moses Ingram, black woman. I was like, no. The Empire, stuffy Brit, aristocratic, fascist, and they're not supposed to be diverse. They're supposed to be, nope, you got color in you? Nah, dude, you can do the toilets, but you ain't holding any rank in the Empire. And I kind of like that because the rebellion was all kinds of color. And I think they're doing this whole, let's be more diverse, but we don't, that's the one area I could be like, we don't need diversity with Empire.
Yeah, because it was like initially that was always like kind of the thing. It was like Palpatine kind of hated that diversity, so that's why like even initially like Grand Admiral Thrawn was like the only alien that had any kind of power in the Empire because he was so dang good. And that's what now that kind of diversifying kind of knocks down Grand Admiral Thrawn and kind of like, hey, basically Palpatine likes a bunch of sycophant British white dudes. Like that's kind of how he was very much done early on, and kind of diversifies. Like, no, you should have it being the heroes are kind of the ones you want to have diversity, want diversity ideas and people versus here's our homogeneous idea of what we believe great people are, and that's how we've our whole stormtrooper army is a bunch of a white stormtroopers. I mean, like, there's no, there wasn't black armor. It was just one.
No, but the funny thing is they use the stormtroopers as their clone grunts. And then as they do the Clone Wars, they get rid of the color for Jango, who was not a white guy. And then they replace him with all these non-aiming, terrible soldiers who are disposable, which is like, yes, that's what you do. Because we don't even want them in this part. That's a long tangent on that, but I just think that's something that going forward Star Wars creators should be mindful of. We don't need diversity on that level. Chief, how excited are you for an Obi-Wan Kenobi show?
Disney hasn't failed us yet. So I can't. The Ahsoka, the Mandalorian was good. Boba Fett was good. This is gonna be good too. I mean, we already know. Disney has not put out anything that any of us hasn't liked yet, as far as the Marvel universe is concerned and the Star Wars universe is concerned. Everything has been, and when I say that, I mean what we have here that's going on within Disney. I don't mean
on Disney
like
Plus.
Some of those Star Wars movies.
The fan fiction movies don't count.
Right. I'm talking about this Disney Plus content. Jon Favreau, he's been doing his thing. The Marvel movies have been. I mean, So Obi-Wan and Ewan McGregor, you said they're bringing Anakin.
Darth Vader.
The dude who plays him?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, what can you say, man? Can it be beat? I mean, what can you say? I mean, you gotta just sit back and hope that it's just really that they give you 10 episodes or something.
It's only gonna be 6. It's only gonna be 6.
See,
but
this is the yeah. Like, yo, can we get 10 out of this joint?
I'd rather have 6 high quality than 10 with 3
6
mediocre.
goes so quick, man.
It does.
This isn't like the CW stretching it to 23 episodes. Like
no.
Like you
we don't want that Flash 23 episode bull. But 10 episodes, man. Give me past some of the summer. I'm smack dab in the summer, middle of summer when this thing ends. It starts in May.
It's May 25th, so you are
right. So right now you're in the beginning of July or something.
Yeah.
Give me until almost August before you know what I mean, or the end of August, back when everything starts up again.
Well, Chief, the problem is they have their Star Wars Marvel setup, so by that point, there'll be another Marvel show dropping. So they've done a really good job of keeping it. So there may just be the end of July, and then in August we break out the new Marvel show, and that could be Miss Marvel, could be She-Hulk, and
I can't wait for the She-Hulk.
Yeah, and we got Moon Knight coming later on this month, so we've got content coming.
Hulu did a Cloak and Dagger.
And I think that's going to be en route to Disney Plus too.
And I was hoping they did another. I was hoping they continued that. I kind of like that show.
Did you watch Runaways?
I did.
Yeah, like I liked. I mean, those. It was like funny. Like I was like, I didn't think I would like them. I watched them. Like, oh, these are fun shows. Like I was actually glad when they brought Cloak and Dagger on to Runaways.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Are they gonna? From what I understand, Luke Cage and everybody's moving over to Disney Plus.
The Netflix shows, yep. And Agents of Shield.
Are they going to finally? Are they gonna dig in there? I mean, because that's the possibilities are endless. I mean, you can bring back the Luke Cage. You can bring back, and like I said, man, you put my man behind it. It's gonna be everything's gonna be great, man. We got Trinity. Was it Carrie Ann Moss? Bring all these characters back. The Iron Fist got good the second season.
Yep. Always have to qualify, but that second season was money.
That second season was pretty good, man. I mean, the Misty Knight, you know what I mean? Like, we have so many, even the thing how Power, my man and Kirsten Ritter are supposed to get together. They're supposed to be married in the future, like we how that develops into a story. Like, there's so many storylines they can go with. And I feel like we just, we let it go. Daredevil, I never watched the last season. You guys have been telling me that it was fantastic.
It was really good. Now that you know Daredevil is continuing in the MCU, you have reason now to watch this third season of Daredevil. It's great.
You're right. Now I do. But yeah, before I refused. So now I might go back.
In the protest, Chief.
Right. Now I gotta watch season 2 again and then watch season 3.
I don't think it's so linked up that you can't watch it, but you should watch season 2 because season 2 was great anyway. Punisher and Elektra. All right, fellas, it is that magical time of the show. Who are your nominees for Dummies of the Week? Bro, let's mix it up. Let's have you go first.
Well, and Chief kind of almost spoiled my dummy of the week. My dummy of the week is the Washington Commanders for deciding they needed to spend draft picks on a guy that his former coach said after a year, having you in my team for a year, after almost getting you to the MVP, I can't use you. I think you are trash. But I know somebody who'll accept him. Hey, Washington Commanders? Perfect. And sending actual draft picks and actually not just a bag of flour and, a couple cans of rice. I mean, a couple bags of rice for, Carson Wentz. And thinking that's going to be even a step over Tyler Heineke. Yeah, I'm thinking you were definitely dummy of the week for me.
Chief, you got a nominee?
I'm going to go right over and make Jayce upset because I feel like Denver it's right in there too, right beside the Commanders. These dudes have given up 3 firsts and 3 seconds for Russell Wilson?
No, it was just 2 firsts and 2 seconds.
Even so. Jeez.
I'm sorry. Did you see us have? I'm sorry. You must not have watched Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock play quarterback.
bro.
I made that trade in no time.
Garbage. You guys have, unless y'all win a Super Bowl next year, you have mortgaged the farm. Like, they on Russell Wilson, bro.
We bought 5 years, 3 to 5 years of Russell Wilson versus the 3 to 5 years that we had of those quarterbacks. Man, I take that. I make that trade.
You guys could have done better. Even if you had lost it out and picked somebody in the draft next year coming out. Like, good God almighty, bro. 1s and 2s. Like, this third round this year, and you got third round next year. Like, if you guys aren't on the cusp of winning, you're going to have to either win free agency, because by the time you get to the third round, Garoppolo. Is it Garoppolo? Garoppolo was available. He could have got you to the playoffs.
I would not. I truly say this. I wouldn't have been mad at Garoppolo, but I think Russell Wilson gives us a chance to actually compete. For some of those extra free agents, gonna be like, you know what? I could play on like the last year Denver Broncos and ask to get traded, or I see you guys have a chance of beating Mahomes, Herbert, and Allen to get to the Super Bowl if you have my talent and get a Super Bowl. I'm thinking we can get a lot of those guys. Like, we can get an extra tight end. We have running. I mean, we have wide receivers. I mean, I think we. I mean,
you might even went to Green and grab that Julian Love. Like, there was options.
Right, you just said a guy the guy who Green Bay decided not to appease Aaron Rodgers for.
I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers.
You called him Julian or instead of Jordan Love.
Jordan Love, whatever his name is. But I'm saying,
the guy who's about to get traded. Yeah,
it's Aaron Rodgers. Let me tell you something. Steve Young, if Montana hadn't moved, Steve Young would have never got a chance. So you don't know if he's that good. So it was Montana. Steve Young was sitting underneath.
Steve Young would have gotten his chance after Leonard Marshall broke his back. Because quarterbacks get tackled back then.
If you want him, you can have him.
All right.
We'll take.
Here's mine.
Jones, sir.
I may change my dummy of the week to Chief for that statement. Mine is the CW because they are moving ahead with this Gotham Knights spinoff where the sons and daughters of Gotham's villains and heroes unite to track down the murder of the Batman. Want zero parts of this, and they're already, like I did say, they are going to put in Duala Dent, the Joker's daughter, in there, and Carrie Kelly, Robin of Dark Knight Returns, is also going to be in this. It doesn't sound like a good show. And again, I don't know why.
What universe is this?
It's the TV universe or the CW.
So probably it's going to be part of the CW verse?
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be part of the former Arrowverse. I know Superman and Lois will have no parts of it either.
Okay, so is Batwoman going to have any part of this?
I don't know if Batwoman will because it's supposedly set in the future where Batman's killed.
Batman is what?
Killed. He's dead.
Well, and he killed in the...
So that's it. Well, fellas, hopefully that did just put a damper on your week. But thank you so much, as always, for rolling with me. Thank y'all out there for listening and watching. This episode of Lyle's Movie Files has been filed.